welcome to Running is Bullshit. I'm Amy.
And I'm Stuart, and you're listening to the podcast that loves to hate running. This is episode 112, and this time we're bringing you... Sorry, is this the same? Have I changed this from the last three? Amy did an ultra, I did a short race, and there's some dog news. I mean, that's just pretty standard now, isn't it? We should just put that in the standard introduction.
Yeah, it's like written by an AI.
It's all very familiar territory, don't worry. Amy, I've got something to talk about.
Yep.
Shorts.
Okay.
You know how I talked about my bollocks a few episodes ago?
Yep.
And I was getting some issues and I was having some worries. I've solved it. 2-in-1 shorts or split shorts changed everything for me.
Is that not a normal thing for men? Do you mean like little... Although when you say 2-in-1, you don't mean like the little pants that go inside the shorts. You mean like...
Well, yeah, it's kind of like... Yeah, it's kind of like a tight pair of Lycra shorts inside and then a normal pair of shorts over the top. And they've changed everything for me. I've bought like 2 pairs. I wear them all my runs now. And I'm not sure, this is probably very old news to most people. Solves all of those problems. They're really nice and light and thin. They are, they keep everything where it should be. There's no jumbling around that you don't want. I wonder how they'll be in the winter. Might be a bit chilly, but for now, fantastic. Very, very big fan. Split shorts.
Thanks for that update. I'm sure everyone was waiting for that update, and now they can rest easy. They won't be waking up in the middle of the night like, oh no.
What kind of shorts is Stu wearing?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, it's okay. You can all sleep easy tonight.
Yeah, I'm very, very pleased with my new shorts decision. I just want everyone to know that.
Congratulations.
Let's have a catch up on the last episode. Donna Saunders was referring to that disgusting early morning fly-covered nonsense of an ultra. She said, great podcast this week. Thank you for the mention. Did I mention it took 3 days to drive there and we didn't even leave the state of Queensland? Australian driving distances can be bullshit. What the hell?
Yeah, Australia's a massive country.
Driving somewhere for 3 days is just insane.
That's mad. And I imagine, I don't know, but a lot of Australia isn't very densely populated, is it? So
no, just
it's going to be like loads and loads of just open road, I imagine, with nothing around.
And you're still in the same state. You haven't even got somewhere new. You're still in the same place.
God.
That's insane. What is wrong with people in Australia?
Tor Lawrence replied on Instagram to say, "Ovs love the Norfolk bits." Oh God, here we go. I'm going to say this is Happisburgh.
Haysborough.
Haysborough.
Yeah.
Said Haysborough, still the best one to pronounce. That's one of those things where if you're not from Norfolk, no one pronounces that correctly. No. Haysborough.
If you're not from Norfolk, you don't go there, so it's fine.
No, and you've got no interest in pronouncing things from Norfolk. He said, I'm running with Kat next month, so we'll see what BS occurs, laughy face.
Of course, Kat was the one tricked into running by Gabby Nair, and anyone adjacent to her will certainly be in for some bullshit.
Okay, yes, definitely. It's infectious.
Yeah, absolutely. We also had a photo of Charlotte Neverson with a horse. And she said, listening to the pod, and yes, that bit, while shoveling actual shit. Rex says he doesn't give a fuck. Still listening, love Charlotte, brackets, not Cornelia.
I feel like Charlotte's a horse girl name as well.
It is a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, I definitely... Charlotte gives me horse girl vibes, which is, true.
Again, I don't know why I find insulting horses very funny. I just do. But I still really want to do Man vs. Horse next year.
It does look good.
There's another big event on that weekend, like in Wales, but I think I'll try and find the time and get it in there because we'll be in about mid-Wales at that point. So definitely want to do that. That is like a New Year's Day sign-up race.
Yeah.
You've got to be properly on the ball.
Yeah.
Oh, nice and early. Let's have a tea update.
Yay.
Ooh.
We've partnered with Bird and Blend Tea, which means we'll tell you what tea we're drinking. And if you like the sound of that, you can go to runningisbs.com/tea, click on the links and buy tea. If you want, we're not going to force you. You have your own free choice in this matter. Stuart, what are you drinking?
Well, I'm actually drinking like a hydration tablet thing because I've just run 20 miles.
Okay.
So I did have some people come round to my house the other day. Actual people come to my house. Gosh. And I did my usual thing. Do you want a drink? Yeah. Got some tea. I've got like 30 types of tea. And usually people laugh at me and go, haha, no, just normal tea. Because they just can't be bothered to get into that conversation.
Yep.
Two of them both opted for weird teas. I tell you what, I've never been so happy. One went for blueberry and peach fruit tea. The other went for very adventurous banana bread chai rooibos tea. And I was honestly so happy to give someone some interesting, different tea. So yeah, banana bread chai. That is my suggestion. It's not super banana-y. It's a very nice spicy chai tea.
I do want to try that one.
You know I love the chai tea.
The chai tea.
How about you?
I have I think I've spoken about this before. I've just got blueberry pancake today, which is very nice. I've said before on the podcast, all the pancake teas are really nice. I like all the pancake ones. They're rhubarb and whatever the flavour you have with pancake. Blueberry, they do Nutella as well. I'm assuming the pancake bit comes from like a bit of vanilla or something. I don't know.
Probably
it's
something
nice
like that.
though. Yeah, I've got it hot, but they are good as cold brews. I've said this before, so yeah. But they're just to remind everyone, pancake teas really good. Good as a cold brew. Mix them with some lemonade. Leave them in the fridge overnight. Perfect.
It's cold brew time of year.
It is.
Also the time of year for Amy to do ultras.
It is.
That was a weak segue, but I mean, because you just do them all the time now. So go on, crack on, talk about another one.
I do. And can I just say, before I get into the race report, I don't know why I call it a fucking race report like I'm an influencer or something, but before I get into the description of what I did, I want to look back at that poll that we did that said how many am I going to start and how many are going to finish and all of that.
You crack on, I'll look it up.
Because I'm on 4. This is the 4th one finished. Just to let everyone know. So this was the Piggum. It's 30 miles in the Black Mountains. I ended up doing just under 6,000 feet of elevation. Not everyone else did, but that's what I did.
That's a lot.
Yep, the elevation chart for the actual race when I downloaded the route was like 5,100 feet of elevation. So I did an extra 900 feet, just for funsies, bonus elevation. So yeah, this was starting from Abergavenny. It's like a circular route in the Black Mountains. Absolutely stunning. I think one of my favourite races I've done so far in terms of the views. Like absolutely amazing, really, really nice. The race started with ascending up the Blorange, so that was absolutely horrific. Like, I can't even describe how horrific that is. Straight off the bat, straight up there. If anyone's not done that, it's almost vertical.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that a few times on fell races, and I've gone on about it here. And now you see what I mean when I've gone on about how bad it is. And when you got out of the woods at the top, you turned left. But the normal race that I've done, it just goes straight on up.
Yeah, we didn't go to the top.
No, that's sensible.
That looks a bit, yeah. The race document did say, don't worry, you're not going to the top. But what I did was enough, especially sort of fresh into it. We were pretty much going straight up there within like half a mile or so. We were going up there, which when you're just starting out on a race is horrible and your legs haven't warmed up and stuff. I did that thing where I just did a bit, stopped. But because this is the start of the race, I was feeling like, how am I going to manage 30 miles? And I actually want to turn back right now and just go home. It was so bad. But Reese, the race director, said at the beginning, that is the worst part. It seems horrific, but it's the worst part. And it was. He was right, actually. He wasn't lying there. It's definitely the worst part of the race, 100%. Like, after that, everything else paled in comparison. So I was kind of glad to get that done at the beginning. So as usual, things went wrong. Firstly, and shout out to Derry as well, who I ran with the entire way. Whether he wanted to or not, we ran together the entire way, which was good actually. It made the miles go by really quickly.
He's a lovely man.
He's absolutely lovely, and we just chatted about everything, even though I don't think I've ever met him properly in person, and now we know each other's life stories. So,
that's nice.
That's what happens when you spend like 12 hours together, which didn't expect to be out for 12 hours, but we'll get onto that. So the first sort of diversion we made, which was actually by choice and not by mistake, as the others would be, there were cows in the road. Not only were there cows in the road, but they had babies with them. So those cows were babies.
I assume you mean calves.
Yeah, baby cows, whatever.
Okay,
calves,
you're not
whatever.
Human. That'd be weird.
Yeah. Yeah, not actual human babies that they've stolen. No, there was cows with their babies, and then a bull among the cows as well. So that to me is like a recipe for the disaster. They seem kind of chill, but I didn't want to risk it. So we ended up sort of going through this, I don't even know how you describe it, almost like scrubland or like a load of bracken and like horrible bits of grass basically up the side of this road, taking a bit of a diversion and having to sort of make our way down. But we got out of there safely. The heart probably spiked then. If you look at my sort of heart rate on this ultra, when you see the spikes, that's not going up a mountain. That is cows and wildlife that I'm encountering. But we made it through there safely. We had another bit of a diversion as well. The GPS, the directions on my watch, are always like slightly behind. I need to be more aware of that and just zoom out a bit so I can see what's happening. But it was always just sort of slightly behind. So we missed a few turnings. And this one turning we missed was on this moorland. And it was this really sort of tallish, sort of up to your, me, I'm quite short, just below my knees, kind of thick, weird grass. And then the ground underneath was so uneven, but uneven in a way that it was just like holes, like random holes in the ground. So rather than go back, we were like, I looked at my watch and I was like, I can see the route, I can see the path. Let's just try and sort of make our way through this grass. And it was horrific. So I was going through, and I'm going through very slowly because my foot is just sinking. And every now and again, it really sinks, like in a massive hole. So I was thinking, right, I'm good. Well, not a massive hole, a deep, narrow hole, the sort where you break your ankles, you know? Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, I'm going to either break my ankles. And then Derry goes as well, hopefully we don't get bitten by a snake. I'm like, I didn't think of that either. Yeah, probably absolutely crawling with snakes. So I had that as well. So
you're a fell runner now. Congratulations.
Oh my God, that took way longer. Like, just getting back to the path, which I think we're only like 0.2 of a mile away from. And we just, in the end, we were trying to find like another path. But in the end, I'm like, let's just go the most direct route and get back on this fucking path because I am sick of this.
Always the best way.
Oh God. And it was just, it took so long, and I was having, both of us, and like I'm fairly short, but both of us were having to lift our legs so high and then put them down so carefully so we didn't twist an ankle. It was absolutely horrific, but we made it back to the path. The rest was just fairly, not much exciting, crazy happened, amazing views, stuff like that. Then we got to the final, what we thought was the final big ascent, about 25 miles in, which was the Sugarloaf. That was hard, but it was okay. Just sort of going up a bit, stopping a bit, going up, stopping, going up, stopping. Very steep. But I could see on my elevation chart that this was the last big climb. And then when we got to the top, I could see there was only another 100 foot of climb for the final. I think it was like 6 miles or something. There was only like another 100 foot of climb. So I was like, that's fine. We've basically done it, And I was saying to Derry, I was like, we've done it now. We've just got to get back and no more climbing. We've done the climbs because that's the hardest part of this race is the ascent. So we're going down. Going down the Sugarloaf was horrific. So steep. These stupid steps somebody's put in made out of stone. Whoever put those steps in, I don't know, they're putting them in for elves or something because they were tiny. And honestly, they made I would rather they just left it as a trail or like a sheep track or something because those steps, and they were all twisty, and I was trying to get my foot on these bloody steps, and I was like, and the whole way down I was like, get me off this fucking mountain, get me off, because I thought I was going to trip and fall. Those steps were more of a hazard. Don't bother. I don't know why somebody's put those in. Don't bother. If you're going to bother, put some proper steps in. Absolutely stupid. So the ascent was the descent, was actually worse than the ascent on Sugarloaf. It was horrific.
Yeah.
So we were feeling like high spirits after that. I was like, we've done it, we've cracked it. Just got to get back to Abergavenny now, and we're all good. Until we got lost 4 miles from the finish. And there was 2 trails we could go on, and one was going up and one was going down. And I thought, and that they're so close to each other, you couldn't quite see properly on the GPS at that point. Yeah. And I thought, surely we're not...
Let's go down.
Yeah. I'm like, surely we're not going up. I said, we've only got 100 feet of elevation left to do. We can't be going up. That's more than 100 feet. And Derry at this point is like, I don't care. Let's just go this way. I don't care. So we followed this trail going down. And I could see the GPS, my watch was beeping at me every 2 seconds and going, okay, you're 0.1 of a mile off track, you're 0.2 of a mile off the route, 0.3, 0.4, until it got to 0.5, and I was like, this is the wrong way. this is the wrong way.
You got to point 1, point 2, point 3, and you're like, yeah, we'll keep going.
Yeah, we'll keep going. It was kind of running parallel, but the thing is as well, like the GPS had been doing that a bit on trails we were supposed to be on with signs on. So I think this is the first year this race has run. So I did wonder whether the GPS was just a bit out from where it's been plotted. Because it had done that a few times, and we were just running parallel, and we were on the course because
it's when you get that kind of split, a path just diverge.
Yeah, that's what it was doing.
Difficult to see on the watch until you're a little way past it.
Yeah, it was getting further and further away, and I was like, "This is the wrong way," and we were going further and further down as well. Luckily, where we were, there were a lot of trails that were sort of linking into each other, and I had a quick look at Google Maps. I knew we were going roughly towards Abergavenny, and that was the main thing. We weren't heading the other way, which is like most important. So we managed to find a trail that sort of went horizontal from where we were to the actual path we were supposed to be on. But in doing so, because we'd gone so far down, we then had to go back up. So if we'd gone on the original trail, we probably would have added on, like, it probably wouldn't have been 100 foot elevation. It probably would have been like 400 or something, I guess. Instead, we added on 900 feet of elevation. Going up, we're in the woods, going up this massive steep hill. I'm like, why are we doing like another climb? Why is this happening? And to tell you why, because we got lost and decided to make our own route. We also added on about, I think, just over half a mile, which kind of sucks. You know, when you're at the end of an ultra and you're like, I should be finished by now, but I'm not, because I've added on, like, I think it was a mile or half a mile, which wasn't great, but we did manage to find, and we had to bushwhack through these like these ferns or bracken or whatever, you know, those big leafy plants. They must have been about 6 feet high. They were way over my head, so I had to literally fight my way through to find the path, which wasn't great, but we did it. We managed to get back. Took us 12 hours, which was longer than I anticipated. I mean, I thought it'd be a long time because of the climbs. And in my head, I was like, you know, I'm just going to take the climbs easy. We'll stop, we'll take a breather, we'll go again, we'll stop, we'll take a breather. But the getting lost thing was really, it slows you down so much because you're having to look at your watch, you're having to stop at, like, where the trail splits off and be like, okay, is it this way, is it that way? Da-da-da. So that really slowed us down as well. We were well bang on for 10 hours. And then that became 10 and a half. And then that became 11. And that became 12. And it was just... And where we got lost, the trail we were on was this horrible rocky trail. Whereas I could see once we got on the proper trail, it was like this nice grass that we could easily have run along. It would have been really nice. And we were on this...
It's a lovely path, you missed out.
Yeah, I know. And we would have been able to run that. And we were on this horrible rocky stuff that I didn't really fancy running on at that point in the race. So I think we added on probably an hour. I think we would have finished, if we hadn't gotten lost, I think we would have finished in 11 hours, but it's just, yeah. But I'll take that. It was a lot of elevation. I'm not, as everyone knows, I'm not used to doing a ton of elevation. My runs aren't usually a ton of elevation, so to do 6,000 feet, I don't mind that taking a bit longer. Yeah. And then finally I got sunburnt to shit. Like, it's quite, you can't quite see on the camera in here because it's quite dark.
I can see a little bit.
But the thing is, so I got really sunburnt. I'm silly. I kind of did this at the Vogum. I wore sunscreen at the Vogum and I didn't reapply it, and I just like sweated it off. So I got a bit sunburnt. I am severely sunburnt because it was really overcast. I did that silly thing as well, that when I couldn't really feel the sun, because when the sun came out, it was really windy because we were up like really high. So I just didn't even think about, I had it in my bag, but I didn't even think about putting sun cream on. And it felt quite cool. The race was nice in that way. It was really cool. But yeah, I got really severely sunburned. But I've got this like weird thing where around my eyes is completely white. And I was like, why are my eyes white? Like around like my eyebrows and just under my eyes is all like white, like I've been wearing goggles. And then I looked in the mirror and I squinted and I realised that's why, because the whole race I was like either frowning or squinting. And I've made like a white circle around my eyes. So yeah, and it really hurts today. I'm going to have to go out and get some after sun because my whole face and my arms are all burnt as well.
So you actually carried around sun cream with you for the whole day as well?
Oh yeah. But
cool.
Honestly, nice. The sun was just in and out. The sun wasn't even out that much. I think it must have been only out in total for like 3 hours or something. And those 3 hours, it just burnt me to shit.
Yeah.
Like absolutely burnt me to shit. But yeah, I didn't even think about it because I didn't feel particularly hot. I didn't think, I'm getting burnt right now. But I did. So yeah, but all in all, I actually enjoyed this race.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a really nice one. I've got loads of photos I've seen. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
I've looked up the poll stats we had before.
Okay.
60% of people didn't think you'd start 4. 67% of people didn't think you'd finish 4.
Well, there we go. I'm beating the odds.
You are beating the odds.
I'm beating the odds. So, there we go. I did it. I finished it. I actually enjoyed this one. Yeah. Fuck you all. Anyway, that was it. That's my race report. Yeah, Stuart, what have you been up to?
Well, I was going to say 4 down, 2 to go.
Yes. Oh, don't get me started because next is the Edam, and we don't mention the Edam.
We just
that
don't
might
talk
be
about
that might be where the polls turn out to be correct.
Yeah.
Whoever said I wouldn't finish 5, we'll see.
Well, okay. I'll firstly just get these bits out of the way. The bits are not really worth talking about. I went to 2 running-related AGMs last week. They were hard work.
God,
Man.
AGMs.
I know. Yeah, running is still old school as I'm learning. In all the horrible, horrible ways that people stereotype it. Yep, still true, apparently. God. So, that was fun. Also, I did back-to-back long runs for the first time ever. Like, I've been running over 10 years, never done 2 long runs back-to-back. I mean, only like 20k, but that's pretty good for me.
That's what you're supposed to do, like ultra training.
Apparently that's a good idea. Yeah, I've always meant
to,
but never quite got round to it. So, you know, there's another thing that everyone else has been doing forever that I've only just tried.
Nice.
Most importantly, the most important thing I need to talk about, obviously, is I got a PB.
Hey!
A proper, actual PB for the first time in over 5 years. God. That was over 5k. And do you know what got me that PB?
What?
Was it motivation? Was it inspiration? Was it determination? No. It was 100% pettiness. That is the way to run. I'm not even going to say vengeance, because no wrong was done to me in any way. I was just being petty and a twat. Basically, there's a guy at club, shout out to Chris, who in 6 months has gone from running 25-minute 5Ks to last month ran 20:59. Wow. Like in the space of 5-6 months. Jeez. And that is very close to my PB, and I'm not standing for it. And he's in the same age category, so can't even use that as an excuse. Mm-hmm. So me and another friend who's, again, his PB is 2 seconds quicker than mine. We were like, right, we can't stand for this. We need to put him back in his place. So we signed up to the SAFA 5K, which is SAFA is like a armed forces charity. And they put on a series of 5Ks over summer in Cardiff. They're really, really good races. And we went out and we thought, right, we'll do like 21:30 because we need to build up because we haven't really run that fast for years. His PB is 5 years old as well. So we'll do about 21:30, see how it goes. And we got our friend to run with us. We were like, oh yeah, come on, you can run this quick as well. She was like, oh, I don't know, I'm not really sure. I don't think how quick I am. She went out at the front of us. She took us out for the first 2k way faster than our like pace we wanted to go.
Jeez.
But actually, she then dropped off at 2k and we kind of carried on. But actually, that got us the PB because that started us fast, banked us a little bit of time, and we ended up coming in. I came in at 20:45.
Nice.
Which is a 5-year PB, which was incredible. Yeah, and the thing is, if she wasn't there, because she was saying, oh, I'm sorry, I took you out too fast and then I dropped off. But like, if she wasn't there, we wouldn't have run that quick. Because if we'd have run at my planned pace, which was 21:30 pace, we would have never have run 45 seconds quicker than that. Adam beat me by 3-4 seconds, I think. He got like a 1 second PB. So that was amazing. And again, haven't run that fast in so long. I got even better PBs than that. Prepared to be impressed and or worried. Average heart rate, 195. Average heart rate for 20 minutes. And the total, the highest, my new heart rate PB, not sure it should be a thing, 206. That is amazing.
Jeez.
For a 38-year-old man, I'm not sure if that's healthy, but seems to work for me.
Oh my God. At what point does your heart explode? Like, what is the...
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, I've checked back because I've got access to lots of stats, and I've never... It's registered higher than that before, but I'm pretty sure they've all been glitches. Like some of them I've got like a 230 on a walk, which I don't think is quite right.
Yeah.
But 206 is my new heart rate PB. So when people say, oh, no, I think you can run quicker than that. No, I fucking can't. That is not going to happen for a while.
The medical evidence to prove it.
Yeah, so I'm absolutely delighted with that. I'm not sure if I'll go for that again because it was very hard. Maybe a 10k later in the year, but I can recommend to people, if you want to run fast, run petty.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me that that's how you got your PB, to be honest.
Yeah. This guy wasn't even in the race. The guy we were trying to beat wasn't even in the race. Hasn't really run for the last few weeks. We just want to put him in his place. And just
That's even worse. Like, he wasn't even there.
He's going to come back and he's going to run even quicker, because if he's progressed that quickly, he's not reached his plateau yet. So, anyway, also found the thing, because after that, I was pretty sure I'd run a PB, because I ran past a clock. They had lecture clock a few meters before the line. I ran over the line, but pretty sure my watch is right. I started it and finished it at the right time. But when you have to wait for results, I mean, this was only like 2 days, but I was going nuts. I was refreshing the page. I was going to their website. I'm like, well, I'm going to keep refreshing it just in case they post it up, but don't post it on Facebook or something. I'm keep refreshing. And I was posting on just how awful it is to have to wait for results. And we had a tweet from Lily Johnson who said, I had this with a local race group. They say they put the results up within 24 hours on their website, but what it turns out they mean by this is that some random man puts them up as a post on his personal Facebook page, not even the event or the organiser's page. And I said, this is actually surprisingly common.
Yep, that doesn't surprise me, and it's absolutely hilarious.
I think it's people who don't quite understand the difference between the event page, the organiser page, their own page. It's it's on Facebook, it's fine. Everyone can see it, right? Oh, it's like everyone knows me. You're like, no, we don't. It's also quite common with a lot of companies. They'll make an event on Facebook for their race, but then they don't use it. They don't put anything in there.
Oh, I hate that.
They put the results all like outside the group. They put the photos in the event, and then they'll put some things, and it's just, look, are they on your main page or are they on the event? I don't know which is which.
Right. There's no continuity either, because it's like either no standard, because either an event has like a really shit website and they might use it or they might not use it, or they don't update it, and then you go to the Facebook and they are updating that, and sometimes they're not updating the Facebook, but there is stuff on the website. I'm so confused. What am I supposed to use?
Yeah. But of course now I've got the same thing. I've got the wait for Run Britain, because that usually takes a little while. It sometimes can be a few days, sometimes can be a few weeks. You don't care about stats, I know, but to get stuff to turn up on there, that can be a long time. There's still a race I did a month ago that I'm waiting to be on there. I'm waiting to be on there because I think it'll improve my handicap score. And so yeah, I've got to wait for that now as well. So,
What a pain.
Also this week, it's been a very busy week as usual for me. I went and did a Pride run because it's the end of Pride month, and Dave Sinclair in Cardiff organises a Pride run every year, and that was fantastic. I went down and joined in with that. I did get assaulted and abused, sort of. I was wearing a Pride flag around my neck as a cape, and I was running along with it, and it was torn off me, just ripped away.
Oh my God.
Grabbed by a bush.
Ah.
Does that count as homophobic assault?
Yeah, I definitely.
Because I've got to say, it wasn't that bad. I don't know what people complain about. I thought it was fine. I mean, I've never been homophobic before, but that was it's not a huge deal. Though, actually, after we'd finished, and I was heading back to the car, still wearing the flag, and someone walked past, and they went, "Hey, look, Superman!" And then his mate went, "Oh, gay Superman." So I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'll take that."
I mean, yeah.
Gay Superman.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'll take that as a compliment.
That's fine. Yeah. I feel like
that's a nice thing to say.
Yeah, gay Superman. There are worse things people could say, believe me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, that was quite nice.
You weren't beaten to death on the way back to your car, so that's fine.
No, just got called Gay Superman.
Yeah.
Though when I wrote it to put it in the WhatsApp group for the organisers, it came down as Gary Superman. That just really made me laugh. Hi, I'm Gary Superman.
Yeah. Works in like car sales or something.
Gary Superman. That was good. Finally, most importantly, there was a dog show yesterday. While you were fanning around, walking up hills and getting lost and trying not to break your ankle, I was at the Bracken show in South Wales, where we entered the dog show, and William is officially the most handsome dog at the show.
It's been made official. It was unofficial, but now it's been made official.
I did not think that would happen. I went in just for some fun. We got picked into the final four. There's about 30 dogs in there. We got picked in the final four. It did help that the judge mentioned that she's got a Kelpie cross and she also runs. So that was very helpful. We got in the final four. I thought, well, there's a little girl next to me. So the little girl's going to win, isn't she? Let's face it. Also a Labrador. A little girl had a Spaniel. The guy next to me had a really beautiful pointer Vizsla cross, and I thought that would win because that was a super handsome. Gun dogs are just inherently handsome. It got down to me and the little girl, and again I'm thinking, well, the little girl's clearly going to win, obviously. Second place. I was like, oh my God, we've won!
Yes.
We've won! William is the most handsome boy. I was so happy. And then it got better. I also put him in for one of the categories was sausage catcher, which I thought, like, usually when I see these, it's a fun dog
So
show.
it sounds like something Gary Superman would do. That's what he's known as at work.
Is that euphemism?
Sausage catcher.
In other dog shows I've seen, basically like a judge comes around and they just chuck a sausage to your dog catches it and they just choose the one they like. So I thought it'd be something like that. He can catch, he's a good boy. What it actually was, it's more like a sausage bobbing. Oh. They had like a little paddling pool. They would drop in 6 little bits of sausage and it was timed how long it took for your dog to eat all the bits of sausage.
Oh my God, Philly would win that. He's such a fat shit, he would win that.
I saw like the other dogs doing it and some of them like just... They drop the food in and they just look at them and look at their owners being like, what am I supposed to do with this? I had no idea. And I saw a golden retriever eat quite quickly. He did in like 13 seconds. I think someone else got 10. William went in. He had to watch all these other dogs and he was jumping up on the table. He was scraping underneath to try and get the scraps and things. He did it in 7 seconds. It was just like, have you ever seen like a... I know this is a really strange reference. Have you seen a duck eat peas out of pond?
Yes, yeah.
It was just... That was what it was. And it was just... They couldn't believe it. I mean, the whole thing was absolute chaos. Because like the women were trying to time it on the phone, but they couldn't see the phone because it was bright, and then their fingers were wet, and then it wasn't quite working. And sometimes like a little kid would do the timing and get it completely wrong.
Oh God, I would not like that. If a kid did the timing, I'd be like, nope, somebody else to do it.
I would be like, can I time it? Because I trust myself more. Yeah. But he did that 7 seconds, blew the competition away. So double first place, going into best in show with his 2 rosettes on. Didn't win best in show. Again, junior handler, reserve best in show. I mean, but I was really pleased. A big lurcher whippety thing called Leggy was best in show, which I was very pleased by. The judge did come over to me. She said, I had to avoid my my bias there because she has got a Kelpie. She couldn't really pick a Kelpie best in show, which is fine. But a double first.
Well done, William.
Well done, William. He's such a handsome boy.
I saw Wilson got a rosette as well. Oh
my God, our friend. Well, I was going to say obligatory mention Liz, who we haven't mentioned in ages.
We haven't. Normally she gets a mention. Well, she used to get a mention every time.
Fucking hell, Liz. Her dog. There's a category called dog that hasn't yet won a rosette. So if you haven't won anything, you can go in this extra category, which doesn't mean anything, and you can win a rosette from that, and then you can go into best in show. She went in. There's each of these. They give 4 places. There were 5 dogs in dog not yet won a rosette, and Wilson finished 5th and got a rosette that said special instead.
I feel like that's, if I was a dog, that would be me.
I mean, the thing is, that is kind of the best outcome because it's the funniest. I mean, if you finish 3rd, okay, fine, but to finish 5th out of 4 in the loser category is amazing.
That's brilliant. I love that. It made me laugh so much when I saw it on Instagram. I love it.
Poor little Wilson, his little special rosette.
Yeah.
He's such a special boy. So those are the most important things. But amongst all that, there's another run that we haven't mentioned yet. God. Big news, everyone. Amy and I have an FKT again.
Yay.
It's possibly the worst FKT that has ever been submitted to them. And it's probably made them rethink the entire submission guidelines.
I think they looked at it and were just like, what the fuck is this? What is this?
Why are they submitting this? The actual FKT is 2 hours on this 21k route with about 1,000 metres of elevation. But that's the male unsupported FKT. We went for the mixed gender group FKT, of which no one had yet sent in a time, which means it was up for grabs. Mm-hmm. And you know what? If it's there, we're going to go for it.
Yeah.
21k, instead of 2 hours, we did it in 5.5 hours.
How long did it take us to do the Penrith pilgrimage run?
6.
6. So, and how far was that in comparison?
That was 32k.
Yeah. Just so, half an hour more to do 32k.
This was pretty bad. You did not have a good time.
Okay, this is the worst run I've ever done in my life. All the ultras I've done that I've especially the ones I found really, really difficult, like the Vogum this year. The runs where I've gotten lost, the one in particular where I got lost in Snowdonia and just had like a prolonged panic attack for 3 hours. Mm-hmm. This was worse than that.
Amazing. When you just said, I think on our way kind of down the last hill, you were saying this is the worst run I've ever had. It made me so happy.
Yeah.
To be a part of it was an honour.
Yeah. Yeah, it was horrendous. So firstly, like, the endless ascents, just endless ascents. And I'm not very good at hills. I'd like to be better at hills, but I don't really, like, train on them. I should train on them more. I don't. So I'm never good at I'm never good at hills, which is just fair enough. I know stuff that's hilly, like this ultra I did yesterday. It's just going to take me a bit longer because I'm shit at hills. I need some time to have a rest. I take it slow, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm just shit at hills. Fair enough. I thought, okay, so it's going to take me longer because I'm shit at hills. Maybe it would take us 3 hours, maybe 3.5. No. Firstly, the weather was horrendous. Like, it was that horrible sweaty weather, so it was warm but humid. And I took with me, you know what? Thank fuck I didn't. I nearly only took 1 bottle of water, but in the end, I thought I'm going to take 2. I'm going to take a whole litre. It was only, we thought it was going to be 12 miles. It was 14 miles in the end. I thought it's only 12 miles. I just need 1 bottle, it'd be fine. But no, I took 2. Thank God, because the sweat was just pouring out of me from the beginning. So I was like constantly drinking to like replenish it.
Yeah, I didn't tell you. I knew the route, but I didn't say there's nowhere on route to pick up any water. But even if you said that,
I didn't. I think it was the weather. I didn't think it was going to be that sweaty, like that humid and sweaty.
Nasty.
It was just pouring out of me, and then obviously I ran out of water. Like, how many miles were we from the end? It was the final like big ascent we were doing that I ran out of the water.
It's like good. 3 decent hills in that, wasn't there?
Yeah. So like the final ascent, I ran out of water and I felt so unwell. I felt so unwell. My vision was like blurring. I thought I was going to vom and then pass out. Like, I felt so bad. We're going past like a church at the top of the final ascent. I'm like, do you reckon they'll be open? Like, and do you reckon they'll give me water? Like, isn't that something churches do? Like, take in the sick and the needy?
No. I don't think they'd allow you in.
No, I don't think they would. And even if they did, the water would probably burn me from the inside out if that priest has blessed it. So felt really bad. So by the time we got up the final ascent, there was loads of really runnable bits, but I just couldn't do it because I felt so poorly. I just couldn't run it, and it was really frustrating because I was like, I can easily run this. It's basically flat. There was even some downhills, and I was like, I could run this, and I just couldn't. I felt so bad. And then just the downhills with that horrible like rock. It was really dry for a start.
Yeah, it was really loose gravel on the way down through the woods on that last downhill.
And some like big bits of like flat rock that just moved under your feet.
Yeah.
I must have slipped on my arse. I stopped counting. It was so many times. I was just constantly slipping over. I was getting, and then at one point I slipped to the point where my foot went underneath my bum as I slipped, and I like fell on my ankle. And luckily, it was like the angle meant that my ankle was okay. But at that point, I was like, no. I'm going to sprain or break my ankle.
He was so angry. It was great.
I hated it. I hated it so much. It was horrible. I think if I had enough water, maybe it would have been a bit better because I could have done a bit more running. But even if I was properly hydrated, those shingly, slipping down bits of path were enough to make it one of the worst runs.
Yeah, they're horrible. It didn't help. The first hill we went up towards Bracken Mountain. And, you know, we got to the point where you're supposed to go, like, straight up a hill. And we just looked, and it was just forest ahead of us. There was no path, and I don't think there's ever been a path. No. But that's what's on the map. And apparently there's quite a line on Strava heat map as well, which I don't believe. And so we diverted and went a different way. And so I kind of saw a bit of a path up, but it was a path that was entirely covered by bracken. Couldn't see it. I mean, you could kind of see there was a slightly darker patch on the floor. You could follow the path. But you were up to your armpits, and even by that point, that was early on. That was less than an hour in, and you were already furious.
There wasn't many respites from the ascents as well. It's like, this is why I'm saying it was harder than that ultra I did yesterday, because at least with this one, you got to the top, and there was some flat, there was some like gentle downhill, but lots of flat you could run on and stuff. Whereas this was like up, bit of like downhill, maybe then we're going up again. And then we're going up again. But
the downs, were a lot of that loose gravel as well. The downs, difficult to run on.
Yeah, difficult to fucking walk on, let alone run on. And then when the bit at the end was like finally a bit that I would have been able to run on. We were going through those fields that were just like flat and like runnable, and that bit behind the bloody shooting range.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was weird. Like hearing gunshots getting closer and closer. But that bit perfectly runnable, and I just couldn't. I felt so unwell. And you know, when you get to the point where you touch your face and you can feel salt on your face, and you're like, this is bad. This is bad. If I've got salt on my face, that is bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, a couple of miles from the end, there was a shop. And so we did go and buy water.
Yep.
I just bought an ice cream because I just wanted an ice cream. And you just like bought a bottle of water and basically took, I think, half of it in one swallow.
Yeah, I did.
It was quite impressive.
100%. That was like, the funny thing is that water bottle was 500 millilitres and that is what I needed. Like, that is what if I had that on me earlier, I would have been fine. And then by that point as well, like, I was just done. I didn't even want to walk after that point. I'd felt so unwell for so long and I was just done. And it was just like a death march back to
we didn't run after that at all, did we? Because we was like, well, there's just no point now.
No. It was
your mum had come to pick you up expecting maybe 4 hours, and I think she was sat in the car park for quite a while.
She was. And then we were going to go to the cafe and get something to eat. They had closed for food.
Like, we started this run at 11 o'clock,
something like that,
and we missed the cafe because it had closed.
Yeah,
because we got in at 4:30.
Yeah, we did. It was just absolutely horrific. Never again. Horrific.
What if someone takes the FKT off us? Well, sorry, when someone does.
Yeah. If somebody just wants to go out there and walk slightly faster than we did, you're fine. You know?
If you want to look it up on fastestknowntime.com, it is the Raven Walk. That is our FKT. It's out there. If you think you can handle it, 5.5 hours for 21k, you're welcome to have a go.
If you think you can beat that very difficult goal to beat, but have a go if you think you're hard enough.
You can support this podcast by going to patreon.com/runningisbullshit and donating money to us every month. And to say thank you, we sing the names of all the people that have given us money, and I recorded this time just before heading out to the Pride Run, so I thought I should reflect on Pride Month and show tribute with a thoughtful, moving rendition of a protest song to show solidarity. Neil Denton, Nikki Genders, Jill Running, Claire Dina, Bernadette McCarthy, Victoria Dick, Elizabeth Shaban, Martin, Josie, Jenny, Tama, Sebi, Tony, Howell's Cat, Abigail Hardman, Francis Howell, Tom Alcock, Dawn Shepherd, Claire Davis, Jason Spinks, Lee Wood, Viola Greff, Shambolic Adolf, Graham Hackland, Matt Lees, Clark Gilmore, J. Sophie Nichols, Matt Jezioski, Angela Foster Swales, Matt Jones, Martin Kaplan, Sandra Heinz, J. Howells, Ian Hales, Ivy Hewitt, Charlie Neverson, Victoria Magnus, Cassie Jones, Brian Simpson, David Owen, Liz Reese, Raymond Quinn, Elliot Line, Ruth KP, AP Sam Wally, Andy Nichols, Ian Thompson, Ria Wicks, Luke Daniel, Matt Burrows, Rachel Bentley, Karen Hamilton, Jonathan Carter, Nick Jones, Paul Herbert, Lisa Gibbon, Penny Simpson, Gabby Thomas Nair, Trish Alton, Karen Blaze, Steve Robson, Len Martin, Gregory C, Gail Seal, Anthony Howe, Noms Dawson, Matt Catherine, Adam Atkinson, Stuart Stevens, Derry, Andy Robbins, Sophie Jakes, Rich Skern, Samantha Benson, Kirk Shepherd, Kath Everard, Sherry Grubbs, Rachel Bullmore, Catherine Fenton, Debbie Hurley, Amanda Murray Hine, Vicky Rawlpins, Matt Garner, Kel Ryder, James Lampert, Matt Newbury, H. Gordy Thelwell, Matt H. Julia Page, Carl Fleming, Erin Shaw, and you know what, I just found out, I just happened to be looking up something about the Village People. There's been 23 members of the Village People.
What?
They are the sugar babes of their time.
What?
Yeah, not all at once.
I was going to say, there's not that many occupations that appeal to
Not
gay
that many
men.
stereotypically gay occupations.
Yeah, I mean, what was the Native American about? That was weird. That's not really an occupation.
I believe he claimed some heritage.
Okay, but he everything else sort of had was there like a builder, a policeman,
Yeah.
and then a Native American?
Yeah, it was a little bit
random.
strange. It was all a bit strange.
Yeah, I want to know the lore behind the village people and the decisions and stuff like that. And who are they? Who is the the policeman? Where's he come from?
I feel like it would make a good documentary.
Yeah, definitely.
Go on, use that bit.
Okay, so don't forget to get in touch with your running bullshit on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just search Running is BS and let us know why you particularly hate running this week.
Karen Hamilton did that, and she said, I cried at the end of my ultra in May.
Oh.
Somewhere in the finish line footage is a short snippet of me looking like a right wally. I was just so ready to be done. Once I hit the finish funnel, I sort of raged out, saw red and sprinted. Probably didn't sprint really, just lifting my lumbering speed with what energy I had. And then the rage evaporated as soon as I hit the finish line and I burst into tears. Also forgot to stop my Garmin, couldn't see where to get my medal, and walked away, leaving my very expensive trekking poles where I dropped them. I do remember the MC saying, "Oh, tears of joy, tears of absolute elation here." Like, nah, mate, these are tears of tears. There is no joy here.
That's the funny thing, because like maybe at the end of the race, someone's got a PB that might cry tears of joy, but very rarely. I don't think those tears you see are ever tears of joy.
It's just, I think, mostly relief, probably.
Yeah.
Just like tears of absolute fury over the line. Just throw your poles down. Can't get my medal. Just want to finish. And I also love the idea of like your sprint finish, because we've all done that. You're like, right, I'm going to sprint finish here, and everyone watching is like, oh, is that a sprint finish? If you ever see footage of your finish line, it's pathetic.
Yeah.
On most long races, it's really pathetic.
It feels really fast when you're doing it.
Oh,
though,
yeah, absolutely. You just you increase your pace by 10%.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
You're like, I'm fucking flying, and you're not flying. You're not at all.
Bless your heart.
Ria Eris said, now ending week 6 of Couch to 5K. Appreciate listening to the episodes I have missed, and also the tea fetishism. The one about running wankers made me laugh out loud and got funny looks. Have a good weekend, both. Smiley face. That was way harder than it should have been to read. I'm sorry, Ria.
Yeah, what everyone's just heard there is the 6th take of that very short message. Thanks, Amy.
Yeah.
And thanks, Ria. Good for you. Nearly done a Couch to 5K. So you're probably been on like week 7 now. Oh, I think week 6, that's the one where you have to do the 20-minute run. Everyone's terrified of that.
I couldn't crack that first time. I did week 6 like 4 weeks in a row, I think, to get it. It's hard.
We've gone through it in our club a few times, and everyone is always terrified of that 20-minute run. Yeah. And then you do it, and everyone's like, oh, we did it. Yeah. Oh, it's kind of fine. And pretty much everyone is just fine with it. It kind of takes them by surprise by that point. But you've done it for ages by then.
Yeah. David Thomas says, just wanted to say that Stu's adaptation of The Streets a couple of episodes ago was brilliant. Much appreciated.
Woo! Yes.
And should be used in every episode in place of the usual musical filler. Keep up the good work, being a listener from the start. Also, don't stop running, because getting back into it from the start again is utter bullshit.
Okay, first thing, listener from the start, nearly 5 years in now. First time you've messaged us, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, who are you?
Fuck's sake. Freeloader is what you are. And doing it every episode wouldn't quite work with the whole Patreon thing. Even though, to be fair, we are trying to put people off the Patreon because it's getting harder and harder.
It's getting too long
to do. It's getting too much. But thank you very much. And yeah, absolutely. The only thing worse than running is not running. Finally, we've got some very exciting news, Amy. We sold a bum bag on our merch site. I think that's the first one we've ever sold. And even better, it's going to the US, which means someone out there will have our logo on their fanny pack. And that is very pleasing to me.
Yes, definitely. Love a fanny pack.
There is going to be BS on someone's fanny. Terrific.
There is. Moving swiftly on. Bullshit running news. That's all you get in this week.
Another day, another ludicrous backyard ultra record as Phil Gore ran around a Queensland farm, completing 102 loops on the hour, every hour, for over 4 days. Ugh. That is 424 miles, starting Saturday morning, finishing on Wednesday.
That's insane! 424 miles!
I just feel sorry for the people organising it, because I imagine they got into Monday and they're like, oh shit, we kind of have to go to work.
Yeah.
So I imagine there must have been taking shifts between them of right, okay, you do Monday, I'll do Tuesday. Hopefully he won't get to Wednesday. It's, oh shit, he's doing Wednesday. Shit, I'm going to have to call in sick again.
I bet the cows are well confused as well.
I imagine they were quite pissed off with that after a while.
Yeah. Getting on their nerves. Thinking of getting into ultras, but they look just too expensive, because ultras are fairly expensive compared to other races, of course. Well, we're not giving out money this time, but Damien Hall is. He's founded Into Ultra, which has a small amount of funding for now to support all the costs around ultras in order to widen the pool of people running. It's often a criticism of running that it's a very middle-class pastime, which is arguable at grassroots level, but when you get ultras that cost about 200 quid and has an extensive kit list, then you can sort of see the point. So if you fancy a bit of this action or have some good contacts to pass it on to, then check out interultra.org.uk.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of those things. If you've got any kind of groups, anyone that's looking to get into ultras, like I say, it's small at the moment, but they're trying to secure some more funding for the future, pass that on to them. And that will help with things like travel and accommodation and kit as well, which is a great idea.
I think it's really good because also, like, things like accommodation and travel can be expensive because often ultras are in the middle of nowhere. You know, if you think about your city races, like your 10Ks or whatever, they're fairly accessible because you might not have to travel. You can do a local one, or if you've got like a local club race that are really cheap, you can do. Whereas ultras, middle of nowhere, you might need accommodation, but also things like kit, like a waterproof coat will set you back minimum 60 quid, but like an actual waterproof, you're looking at like 100 quid for a waterproof coat, you know.
Yeah, so. Especially some of the fancier races where they actually give you like a minimum level or standard that the coat has to be. It's not just any waterproof coat. No, it has to be a certain standard of coat.
Yeah. Ultras are expensive, like the kit list and actual entry, because and justifiably, some of them are ridiculous, but justifiably because they've got to pay for, you know, your checkpoints and aid stations and stuff like that. There's loads that go into them, so yeah, they're not that accessible actually. So I think this is a really good idea.
Yeah, great idea. Hopefully that carries on and increases. Finally, you know how everyone says, why not just let everyone at the Olympics freely juice up and let's just see what happens?
Yep.
Well, that actually might be on its way.
God.
The Enhanced Games is apparently happening in 2024 after a hilarious video came out on Twitter with the text, "He is the fastest man in the world. He has broken Usain Bolt's 100-meter record, but the world isn't ready for him. The Olympics hate him. He has been vilified. He will be vindicated. Come watch him compete at the 2024 Enhanced Games." My God.
Oh my God.
This video featured, as they revealed later, actual stock footage of a man using blocks on the finish line and not wearing spikes. So, like, straight away, people are saying, like, this guy ran apparently 9:49 for 100 metres, doesn't know how to use blocks, isn't wearing spikes, doesn't know where to put blocks, but apparently it was stock footage. And the video was then taken down by Twitter for a copyright claim, which is a great place to start for them.
I just, the legalities and the ethics around it, because on most of these athletes that like juiced up or whatever, the stuff they're using, aren't they like controlled substances that shouldn't be used in that way? A lot of them.
I imagine if they're outside of world athletics, they don't fall under those rules. But then a lot of the substances may be illegal in that country.
Yeah, because I'm not sure the ins and outs about it, to be honest. But I think some of them are people using medications that are legal but not for their intended use. And
and like buying them or distributing them maybe. So I imagine because I think it's an Australian entrepreneur that's putting this on.
Okay.
And it's like an American voice on the video, but that, of course, that may not have actually been him. So I don't know, it may end up being in some random country, if it happens at all. But like I've just looked through their tweets and things, and like the self-righteousness and confidence it has, because it's all about, like, they're saying this is a thing to wipe out and corruption and evil from the world.
That's insane.
Because they're saying the IOC is corrupt, which, like, okay, yeah, you've got a decent argument for that. But to say that, like, this will wipe it out, and like, people will prefer this to the Olympics because there'll be no drug testing and people can kind of do what they want. But I just think, like, when the first person dies from, like, taking a massive cocktail of drugs and their heart explodes on the finish line, are they going to be covered for that? I'm guessing not.
But somebody completely roided out is writing this shit. like, we're going to take them down. We're going to reveal corruption. Like they're going to be completely raging and like smashing their laptop up because they're just completely roided out.
I don't know. I know. I read the tone of it, and it's just so self-righteous and just like it's so smug and arrogant. It's such a bro thing.
Yeah.
And like, do we think this is good? They're saying 2024, the enhancer games are going to happen. Do we actually think they're going to happen?
No.
I imagine it won't happen, and they'll say it's because the man's trying to keep us down. The IOC won't let us. They can't handle us. People can't handle the truth. Where actually it's just because it's an insane idea, and people are going to die potentially.
Yeah, because there's reasons beyond just it being unfair. Why those drugs, people aren't allowed to take those drugs. Because it's dangerous as well. It can be really dangerous, and lots of, particularly bodybuilders. So you look at bodybuilding where performance, like steroids, are really common, and actually, like, you can't be a competitive bodybuilder in many competitions unless you take the steroids. And the amount of young people that are dying from heart attacks and things like that from taking it. So it's obviously dangerous.
This guy says he's run 9.49 for the 100 meters, and there's quite a lot of people pointing out that like taking like a load of drugs and whatever doesn't take like 2 seconds off your time 100 meters. Like he would have to be a 10-second 100-meter runner in the first place, which means people would know about it. He's not no one that's all of a sudden had a few injections and can now run really fast. So it's just like that just sounds like bollocks.
I think it is.
Even that.
Yeah, I wonder whether it's like some sort of thing to get people interested, and then they're going to try and like market some products or something, or I don't know.
Start selling NFTs.
Yeah, something like that.
Do you remember NFTs? That was a big thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and NFTs, Bitcoin,
I don't know, yeah. Or perhaps like, I don't know, in a way, it will happen and be awful. That would be funnier.
Yeah.
If it did happen and everyone there was just a bit shit.
Yeah.
And it's not like the big thing that they expect it to be. But again, they'll find someone to blame, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to.
Stuart, what have you got coming up next?
Oh my God, even more. I've always got things. There's so many things. Got a race soon. The Cosmoston Relay, that is the best race of the year. We've got 72 runners from our club going down to do that. Very much looking forward to that one. You'll never run faster than with a baton in your hand. That is just a fact. And I've also got the Rabbit Run, and that is a 7-mile mixed trail race that involves running through a river and down the second largest sand dune in Europe. I haven't done it for like 5-6 years, and I'm really, really looking forward to that one. That's a great race. Amy, what about you?
Training for the Edam, so I need to go and train. Like,
Can do the Raven Walk again to get those hills?
Probably not the Raven Walk. I need to go and do hills, but I just don't want to go back there ever again.
Yeah, that's
ever.
fair.
I have nightmares about the Raven Walk, so no. But I do want to go out and do some training runs in places that are hilly, because I probably need to do that.
Probably do.
Probably useful. Oh, yeah, that's it.
Pretty useful. If you've enjoyed this bullshit, you can visit runningisbs.com. See the show notes, links from this episode, the whole back catalogue if you want, as well as links to our Patreon merch store to buy a fanny pack, and social medias. Bye.
Bye.
Fanny.